Hi folks, it's Sven Jungbeck again, and today I will share with you a fantastic lesson that I once received from Scott Henderson in a workshop that he gave in Arnhem where I studied jazz guitar. And this is a lesson about chords and building chords, and it will help you a lot to figure out all important notes on the fretboard in any tune, and of course to build chord melodies. And the first exercise that he showed us is the exercise Can I Stay? So you pick any jazz standard, doesn't matter which one, can be an easy one, for example, like Autumn Leaves or All the Things You Are, some of those very well-known things. It doesn't matter, it works with any standard. Let's choose All of Me, because it has a lot of different chords, and this is nice with this exercise. So the first exercise, Can I Stay, means you choose any voicing of C major 7, which is the first chord of the tune. Doesn't matter which one, any C chord, can be absolutely any C chord, no matter if it's on the D string, if it's on the A string, if it's an inversion, it doesn't matter. So I think for the beginning, take this very common voicing because you should be used to it. It's one of the most common C major 7 voicings. And we got the E up here with the pinky 5th fret. So now you try through the whole form to keep this E up here. So with E dominant 7, which would be the next chord, this is pretty easy. Working with A dominant 7. Of course, you can play the bar chord to the B string or just this voicing, doesn't matter, but A dominant 7 with E is of course no problem because it's the 5th of A. So, review. With the C, it was the 3rd up here on the B string. In the E dominant 7 chord, the E is of course the root up on the B string. And then we got A dominant 7 where E is the 5th. So now in D minor, which is the next chord, or D minor 7, it would be the 9, D minor 7, 9. It's perfectly working. Then we go back to E dominant 7. Again, it's the root. And you can choose any voicing here that you know. You know, you can build your own voicings. Only condition is the E has to be the top note. Now we go to A minor. This is perfectly working. Same as with A dominant 7. E is the 5th. You know this voicing, and tada, E is up here. Then we go to D dominant 7. This is also perfectly working. We get a D dominant 7 9 chord here with the E, and then again D minor 7 9, and with the G it's perfectly working because E is the 13th, very common jazz chord. So this was part A, and it was no trouble at all. It was like, all of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I never use them. So, and then of course in the second half it's more or less the same. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I get along, dear, without you? And then we got the F note. No problem, because E is the major 7. Like this, or you could... It's also not important where you put it. You can choose any voicing with the E up here. And then F minor. We can play F minor, major 7. And then you got two options. Most players, and I like that too, play C now again after the F minor, but you could play also E minor 7, which is just a substitution for C. And the E, no problem here. Sorry. And then A dominant 7 again. And that's it. So also the second part is working with the E all the time. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I get along, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart. Why not take all of me? So, and the next exercise, of course, when you now go to practice, try this with any chord. It's always working. You can try it with the G. One important thing, sometimes it's not working, then you go, Scott told us to go then to the previous note or to the next note. This is always working. Let's check it out, for example. C with G up here, perfectly working. Is the G working for E dominant 7? Of course. We've got an E dominant 7 with a raised 9. Is it working for A dominant 7? Of course. It's the 7. Is it working for D minor? Yeah, it's the 11. Then we go back to the E dominant 7 with the raised 9, then A minor 7, not a problem at all. Then we go to D, dominant 7, it's the sus note here. And then again we got D minor 7, 11, and in G it's the root, it's no problem. It's also working with the F and also with the F minor. Or doesn't matter in the second half. So this exercise is very good and it will help you a lot to find the right chords in every place of the fretboard. And the second exercise was very similar but also a lot of fun, and this is what's next. What's next means that you always try to play the very next note. In the case of All of Me, when we start with C, let's again start with E, and then would be F, the very next note. Is that working with E? Of course, it's the flat 9. The very next note would be F sharp. Is that working? Actually, yes. A, 7, 13. Very next note would be G. Is that working? Yeah. D minor 11. Next note would be G sharp. Is it working? Of course. Very normal E dominant 7 chord. Very next note would be A. Is it working? Of course it's working. A minor 7 with the root up here. Next note would be B flat. Is it working? Yeah, of course. It's D dominant 7, flat 13. Not the first choice from a harmonic view on that tune, on the D chord, but it's working. And then we got the 2-5, D minor 7 and G. And here it's, of course, it's a bit, it's not difficult, but the B note would somehow spoil the third when you play it on the D minor chord. Then the third, the B on the G dominant 7, is spoiled somehow. But this is not a problem. It would be, theoretically it's possible, and it even sounds pretty nice. D minor 7 with a 13, and then G sus, G dominant 7 sus, you can play it here, with the C up here. And then there comes a moment when it comes to C again, where the very next note is impossible, because it's C sharp. And that won't sound so good. You know, I mean, it would be possible if it would be a C dominant chord, but it's a major chord, and then the C sharp is really not so cool. The flat 9 is not working. So then you just go one note further to the D. I changed the octave now, and then you're back in part B again, C. Very nice. Now again, it's not working because the D sharp or E flat is the only note on E dominant 7 that's not working, because it's the major 7, but we need a dominant chord. So two options: either you stay on the D or you move forward to the E. Okay, now we're A dominant 7 again. This is not a problem. You can take the very next note, F, to play A dominant 7 flat 13. Next note, again, is not working, because now we got D minor and F sharp is the major third. So we gotta either stay on the third or move on to the 11. Next note again is working then, you know. And then we're back in the shape that we had before. But no, we're in part B, so after that comes F. So F is again not possible with the G sharp, but you can stay on the G or move on to the A. Then F minor, what can we do? We can play F minor 11, B flat, then we can go to the B for E minor, we go to the C, A dominant 7 with the raised 9. Then can we use the C sharp on D minor? Yes. And G dominant 7. And then we're back in C. We can't really use the D sharp, but we can go up here. And this is the exercise. And I think it's a brilliant exercise for putting together chord melodies and learning something about the chords. Because it's not a book exercise. It does not follow the typical systematically approach of learning block chords. It's just a very creative way that you can use on every standard. And you can use it, of course, on any string. You can, for example, try it with the bass note, which is very exciting, try, let's say, where can you stay with the C in the bass? Can you stay with the C in the bass playing pedal for E dominant 7? Yes, it's working. And so on, you know, you've got a lot of options there, and it will be a creative process, I'm sure. And this was one of the greatest exercises that I received. Hope you like it. Bye.